There was a map of the dark that was posted on Facebook this week. And it's called the Baal Path, also known as the Kabbalah, the Tree of Darth, or the Tree of Death, as it's known. No matter what New Age alt media clown tells you differently. So that there are two plans of the dark, plus the former control system, remember, plus the manifesto of the Order of the Black Sun, which was revealed in From Russia with Love 8B. And someone on the page asked the question, where is the light plan? It's a valid question. And I've referred to a particular line in the 100 series of the individual warring clans of humans on Earth. And the question was asked, where are the good guys? The reply was, there are none. And it was a very harsh but indicative lesson to be learned from that one statement. Why is that indicative and also brutally correct? Well, in that show, the various factions of humans spent all their time fighting each other and fighting to be top dog, so to speak. Meanwhile, the main group in control just let them carry on picking each other off, whilst they made plans to control everything. Sound familiar? Should be. As it applies to us all. I wasted near 2 hours of my time, well, just over 2 hours this week, dealing with issues that had been raised. And when the forum for bringing up those issues was provided, crickets ensued. And this is a common trait within us all, not just that group. To complain about everything until that complete platform is provided, and then it's the sound of silence. Hello, darkness, my old friend indeed. You know, complaining is one thing, doing something about it is another. A few examples. People complain about banks, and yet still bank at the main cabal-based banks. You all know their names by now. And then people complain they have no say in things. And when provided, go silent. And people complain endlessly about politicians and then vote for them. You know, I could go on all night with several other examples. But I would prefer you all yourselves to come up with your own examples, and then you'll understand not only the problem, but the sheer stupidity of it all. So why is there no light map? Because supposedly the most creative species can't be bothered making one. And spend all their time arguing and competing, and trivial matters is why. But look around the world, very few people get on. Again, this has to be changed. Back in England, you know, they don't appear to like any other nation or people as a collective. They don't like Germans, Australians, French, Scots, Welsh, the Irish. Americans are fake, they say. But the real reason is they don't like themselves. Americans. Ooh, those nasty Russians, nasty Chinese and nasty Muslims. But have you met them all to form your own opinion? Have you been to their country yourself and garnered your own opinion? Are my questions. No, like many, they followed the narrative of what many are now labelling them as fake news. So fake news formed your opinion is what you're saying. Do you stop to think about what you've just stated? And then we have the plight of immigrants. Nobody wants them. The system is not forming that opinion, is it? What it's saying is you don't want your fellow species. Again, do you stop and think about what you're actually stating? What happens if you don't speak? What happens if you don't act? What happens if you don't provide alternative solutions? What happens if you don't take personal responsibility? What happens if people stay divided? What happens is we have what we have now. Nothing but a control system, albeit a crumbling one, that all complain about, but actually not only facilitate it, but enhance it and reinforce it. Because we're not thinking properly. There's little to no control system left now. Events of this week have just added to that. Your chains have been broken and you've been set free. And yet people are locking, bolting and binding those chains back onto themselves in the most bizarre fashion, to the point of ridiculousness. Now you may argue and react to this piece because you're stuck in a coma of sorts, but I defy anyone to hand on heart say this is not the truth, Thomas. Because it is. And it's up to us all to correct it. You know, reactions to the recent shows, the religious people in particular, don't like it one iota. Why? Because they feel I'm taking their external saviour program away is the root of it. They want to believe a dead man from 2,000 years ago will defy logic, reason and medical reality and return from the dead and save them. But save them from what is the question? The boogeyman? The cabal? The Illuminati? The elites? Has anyone defined what Jesus would be saving them from? No, they just repeat the meme. Jesus will save them. Save them what? Car insurance? Mortgage interest payments? Trump? Clinton? Remove all the bad guys? But if there's no good guys, there's none of us left, is there? But what happens next? And what happens next far too often is we're back to silence again. Are we not?